Yes. So now to give us insights gained through entrepreneurial journey yakhe njengamanje okanye ke sizodedela our international speaker esinaye ke namhlanje understanding yourself and relating to others Mr. Billy Selakene, a renowned international author and speaker. Ngisacela simshayeleni isandla kakhulu. Can we all stand on our feet? International ikona kithi nawe Frayeda umncinyana. This is a man who walked all over and making history for Africans. Thank you so much to have you with us. Thank you.
Good morning. How are you guys doing? How muhle ngithatha ngiyengibambe kancane uyabona nje. How are you guys doing? All right, before I start talking, we're going to make a deal. I want you to remember 3 profound things about yourself before I tell you anything about what I'm going to share with you. And I want you to repeat these words after me. Not only do I want you to repeat these words after me, I want you to believe them, and I want you to start living your life based on these 3 words. Are we having a good deal? So the first one is I want you to say, I am gifted. No, come on, guys. You know, I usually go there and teach. And I'm telling you, when I say to them, say, I am gifted. Oh, I am gifted. How nina? Let's go again. Number 1, what are you?
I am gifted.
That's the first thing that you must understand. The second thing is, I am young. So the first thing you say, I am gifted. And the second word you say, I am young.
I am young.
So let's start from the first one. Now comes the magical one. And I am proudly black. So let's start from the top. So each time I speak and I show my hand and do the 3 things, I want you to remember and repeat the words. Are we together? Yes. Beautiful. So it's a beautiful, beautiful day to be in KZN today. I really love Zululand. The people are lovely. The weather is nice. The breakfast is nice. You know, it's an amazing place. So, when each time people say I must share my story and my journey of how I got to where I am, because my journey still continues, because all of us are a work in progress. None of us have achieved or arrived at a place where we can feel comfortable. But I find the origin of my story on a very amazing concept which was created many, many years ago. So there was a place in Japan. Japan is a small little island on the Pacific. So there was a place south of Tokyo. It was a small little island. It was called the island of Okinawa. Now, what happened in Okinawa was they had more centennials than any other place in Japan. Centennials are people that have lived above the age of 100. Are we together? So this little place had more people that had lived above the age of 100 and died peacefully. So when somebody told a guy about this place, they thought, let's go and research. While I want to appeal much longer than many other people in Japan. So the assumption was probably the weather is different. The second assumption was probably the food is different. The other assumption was probably the water is different from the water in mainland Japan. So this happened between the year 784 and 1183. That was really, really long time ago. So they took a team of researchers to Okinawa to go and study how these people live longer and happier lives. The assumptions that they had about food, about weather, about water was completely unfounded. But what they found was these people had come up with a very powerful concept called the ikigai. Now the word ikigai simply means your reason to be born, your reason to live, and your reason to be who you are supposed to be. Now these people asked themselves 4 profound questions. And if they said yes to all the questions, they focused on the first answer, and they lived happy and productive lives. So the first question they asked themselves was, what is it that I love doing? Not like doing, not wish I could do, not missing somebody doing it and thinking I can do it, but what is it that you intrinsically love that comes from the depth of your heart, that even if you're not paid to do, you still do it? So that was the first question they asked themselves. What is it that I love doing? The second question following that was, does the world need what I love doing? Okay? Because you can love something, but if you do this thing, does the world need it? Okay, so that was the second question. First, very deep, what is it that I love doing? The second one, does the world need this thing that I love doing? The third question was, will I be paid for it? Because it's nice to do what you love. It's good when the world needs it. But can you monetize it? Can you make commercial enterprise out of this love and passion that you have? And the answer is yes. And now they ask the last question. The last question either confirms the other three or you have to start from the beginning. The last question is, am I exceptionally good at this thing? Not I'm one of the people who do it. Not I belong to somebody who knows how to do it. But am I exceptionally good at what I'm doing? And if the answer was yes to all four questions, they focused on the thing that they love doing. They got paid for it, they impacted the world, and they became content and happy. And they lived longer lives because they were not chasing other things from other people like many people do. Does it make sense? So I'm going to share with you a story that's going to bring us back into this concept. There was a very wealthy farmer who owned vast lands, and he had a sheep and cows over 10,000. This guy was a super wealthy guy. Now, one particular morning, he woke up from his place, and he went and opened for his animals to go and graze. And then he walked into the barn. The barn is where they prepare the feed for the animals. He started working at the barn. But when it was time for him to have food, like you all know when it's time for lunch, your body tells you. When it was time for him to have lunch, he felt it in his body that he was hungry, and he knew in his mind that it was almost the right time to have lunch, but he wanted to confirm. So he reached in his left pocket to search for a watch, and he could not find this watch. He searched his right pocket, he could not find this watch, and he quickly ran into the house to go and search for this watch. He went into his bedroom, the watch was not there. He went into the kitchen, the watch was not there. And then he walked slowly following the path that he took when he went to open for the animals, and still the watch was not there. Now one would wonder, how can a man so wealthy be worried about the watch? You see, the watch is part of his family history. He is the fourth generation farmer. So every male in the family, when they inherit the farm, they also get this watch. And he started to be very, very worried. And he thought in the barn, that's where his body was working. He ran back to the barn, tried to search, and he could not find it. And he went back and he sat in his house. And from a distance, he heard a sound of young men playing. And he quickly went and called these young men, 14 of them, and he explained to them exactly how the watch looked like. And he said to them, if any of you find this watch, I'm going to give them $100. Now, $100 for young people is a lot of money. So these 14 young men went into the barn, turned the barn upside down for 2 hours, and they could not find the watch. And they went back to him and said, sir, we're very sorry, we cannot find the watch, and they all left. And he sat in his kitchen. His heart sunk into darkness, his head into depression. How was he going to explain to his son what happened to the watch? And as he was sitting, he had a knock on the door. When he opened the door, it was one of the guys from the group of 14. And he looked at this young man and said, how can I help you? And this young man said, sir, could I please get an opportunity to go and search for the watch again in the barn? The old man looked at this young man and said, but you and 13 of your friends for 2 hours could not find this watch. What makes you think you're going to find it? And this young man said, all I'm asking for is an opportunity. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we live a life of second chances. When you fail once, go and ask again. Things will begin to happen. So the old man said, well, go, knock yourself out. And this young man had disappeared into the barn. And after exactly 45 minutes, something fascinating happened. The old man had a big thud and big knock on his door. When he rushed and opened the door, it was the young man. And when he opened the door, the young man stretched his hand and opened his hand. And there was the watch. And this old man just grabbed this watch, reached at the back of his pocket, took out all the money that he had, and he gave to this young man. And this young man grabbed this money, and as he was about to run off, the old man stopped him and said, before you leave, I want you to tell me how you, in 45 minutes alone, was able to find the watch, and you and your friends, 14 of you, for 2 hours you couldn't. This young man said, well, sir, here's the deal. When I first came with my friends, and you told us what your issue was, and you promised us money. We never had a plan. We all ran into the barn and turned that place upside down. We did not care because we did not have a vested interest. Our only interest was $100. And when we couldn't find it, as normally we do when we belong to a group, sihamba sonke sibaningi, sihleka sonke, mokomnani siyenzani, sikomplena sonke. Because we belong to a group, it's easy for you to hide in a group. This young man said, sir, when I was walking back with my friends, I realized that I am not as privileged as some of them are, but I have a dream. And I remember that if you gave me that $100, I would take that and sow it into my dream. And he said, I decided to remove myself from the group and understand that at the end of the day, I am the architect of my life. But at the end of the day, I cannot blame my friends, I can't blame the government, I can't blame my parents, I cannot blame my teacher, because each and every one of us have been born with gifts that are inside of us, and it's our responsibility to find these gifts, give them to the world, and the world will respond by giving us the money that we need. And he said, here's what I did, sir. He said, I went inside the barn, and I looked for a place which could be a middle area. And he said, I sat down there. He said, I closed my eyes. I connected my head and my heart, and I removed all the noise in my head. And he said, sir, all that I was searching for was the sound of a ticking watch. Now, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you are very busy. Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, blah, 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 WhatsApp, and all these kind of things. But how many of you really have time to sit down, connect your head and your heart, remove all the noise, and begin to listen to this voice that will reawaken your dream? How many of you do that? Not many do that. Because noise is good for distraction. We want to be distracted all the time. So this young man said, I sat in there and I connected my head and my heart. And he said, sir, from a very, very faint distance, I could hear very faintly a sound of a ticking watch. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. He said, I stood up and I walked towards the general direction of where the noise was coming from. He said, I sat down again, connected my head and my heart, and removed all the noise. And he said, the noise then began to rise. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. He said, I stood up, I walked, and there I found the watch. And then he left. Now, what can we learn from this young man? We can learn 5 very simple principles which I want you to remember. The first one is attached to your ikigai. Each and every one of us was born intentionally and not accidentally. So therefore, each and every one of us has a purpose to fulfill in this life. Some of you must bake cake, some of you must sing music, some of you must design clothes, some of you must cook food, some of you must teach, some of you must design. But we cannot truly make manifest of the greatness that God has given us if we spend too much of our time inside the noise, which is unproductive to us. And most people spend a lot of time inside unproductive noise. That's the first principle. The second principle we learn is the principle of passion. If you are fortunate enough to find your purpose, you've got to understand that great things have never been achieved without passion. You've got to be passionate about who and what you want to become. That's the second principle we learn. The third principle, and the most profound one, is the principle of positioning. This young man said, I searched for a place right in the middle so that I could have a proper sound vibration of the room, because that's what you get when you're in the middle of the room. So in life, you have to ask yourself this one profound question. How are you positioned? What is your brand? Do we get you in a tavern? Do we get you in a corner? Where do we get you? What is your train station? What is your integrity point? Now, when it comes to positioning, I'm going to give you a simple example about branding. So there are 3 retail shops. All of them position themselves differently to us. And as consumers, we respond to that positioning. The first one is Checkers. Yes, we all know Checkers. What do you think is the positioning of Checkers in the market? Price. Checkers is cheap. It's a shop with shelf and stock. That's their positioning. They say we are cheap, we'll give you the 10 stuff, we'll give you whatever we want, but at a cheaper price. The second one is Spar. You guys know Spar? What do you think the positioning of Spar is? Yeah? No, Spar It's convenience. They usually build it inside areas so that when igrocery yakhe shota ngamaqanda ukwazi ukuya eSpar uthenga amaqanda. Mawufuna ibisi uya eSpar uthenga ibisi. That's why amaqanda i6 eSpar is 500 rand or something like that. I'm not sure, you know. Because they know when you go there you need those eggs, you don't want them. Does it make sense? And then there's the third one, Woolworths. What do you think the positioning of Woolworths is? You see, abantu abadle Woolworths ke laba. Uyazibona nene wena zakhona ukuthi asi le cut and paste estradini le eBrazil, you know. Yes, Woolworths positioning is quality. I mean, noma ungene Woolworths uke wawuza umoya wase Woolworths. Even the temperature inside is qualitative. Ayifani neyaseSpani yaseCheckers. eCheckers ungathola abantu bamile abakhuluma nje. eWoolworths akhulunywa. Everybody pusha itrolley yakhe. Kubuliswana ngenhloko. Uke wabona abantu baseWoolworths, very amazing people. About hey baseke benza into zabo. You know, that's Woolworths. I mean, everything is quality there. So, Spar, Checkers and Woolworths, they've got Eat Delicacy where they sell hot food. Yes, all of them. So once in a while, I have an opportunity to go to a Woolworths. And I go to the chicken place where they sell the chicken. And I get in Woolworths is organic. I see it's like, it's organic. So each time I'm there, I look at this chicken, I make up a story. And I ask myself, oh my God, these amazing chickens, where do they come from? Le plaza linjani, you know, and I'm imagining this beautiful farm with green grass and sprinklers and everything is in order. And I'm thinking, wow, because these are organic Woolworths chicken, yes. And I'm thinking, what happens when they come in to guillotine them for us to buy? And I'm thinking, you know, this is an amazing farm. They are breeding the organic Woolworths chicken. I think they play classical music for this chicken. And the chicken just make a nice line, puts a head there, they take it. And then I imagine what kind of truck delivers this chicken. Because these are organic chickens. It's not like, you know, have you seen the truck in Woolworths? It's black. It's organic. Yes. Amavila kona yasebenza, I smoky, udriver gatugani because he's carrying Woolworths chicken. You know what I mean? He's got to get his act together. And they drive into Woolworths and they park at the back of Woolworths. And the bus keep kanjani. There's truckers Woolworths on a lift, you know. This is serious stuff, you know. And they drop them and they give them to those ladies. And those ladies and then they pack them nicely. So when I buy this chicken, I go to Woolworths and I see these ladies and say, hey, ma'am, I'd like to have a relationship with that chicken and with this chicken. Then I observe what they do. CSI, you want CSI, it loves. And the next call is Sabo Chef. Bane ilona, tweezer, you know not. They take the chicken, buy bag a scale, ne? And then scales keep a price. And then they take out the brown paper, which has got insulation inside, and they put the chicken in. And they fold it 3 times. You must go and check. 1, 2, 3, and they take the price tag and they put it exactly in the middle. Because it's Woolworths, everything is scripted, everything is top class. Then mabaqeda bathatha iplastic bayifaka phezulu bayivale so that the chicken must remain moist on your way home. So I take this chicken and I put it in my trolley and I push, I greet people nami ngenhloko kuse Woolworths phela la asibulisana ngamagama sishanje bese ke siyandlula yabona. And then I drive 60 in a 60 zone because I've got the Woolworths chicken with me. You know, 18 and 80 zone ngiya indicator ngisajika nje mahala so ngiya indicator left ngiyajika. I get home and what do I do when I get home? I reverse engineer their process. Ngivula le plastic ngilibeka on the side, I take out the price tag. Nami ngivula kayi3, angivuli nje. Inkukhu yaseWoolworths phela le, you know. I take my time and I open it. And then the smell comes. Oh, the smell. Huh? The smell. I'm telling you, the smell of that chicken is so powerful. Baba ngathi the Pope is calling you ngaphandle. Angibatshela ukuthi atshela ne Pope uthi ngisathandaza nyenza khona manje. Because I'm going to sort out this chicken quickly before I see him. Yes? I put it there, and then ngithatha isikero, ngiyayikhatha, ngibeka isalad yami, ngiyathandaza ke. Ngoba ngithi inkukhu yaseWoolworths ayidliwa nje. Then I eat. Now, have you guys seen inkukhu yaseCheckers? Oh my God, that chicken is like this, you know. Imnyama laso. Have you seen that chicken? Oh my God. Have you seen the ladies working at Checkers? Oh my God. Uthi uyabulisa ufunani bhuti ufunani? And sometimes ube nebhadi uthole laba abaklinayo yabona, and we've got no choice, we have got to walk. Mawudlule bathi nango ke uJesu uhamba phezulu kwamanzi, ngiyambona ngithi. That's how Checkers roll. Bakubamba manje. Now have you seen how they give you the chicken from Checkers? Bayinemforoko. Bayayihlaba nje. Pwa! Have you seen the packaging? It's a plastic package, moisile phezulu in a handle. So the implications are abantu abathenga Checkers bahlala bagijima, you know. So so they've got to hold it like this. Now, how do you eat a chicken from Checkers? Where double, you know. You know. So now here's the story. This story speaks about you. If we were to test your brand or your positioning, would we think of you as a Checkers chicken or a Woolworths chicken? Because branding is about perception, and perception is everything. Now your brand are the little touches of your life that people experience, and eventually they make a label of who you are. So that's the third principle we learn from this story. The fourth and the last principle we learn from this story is this young man, ube nesnege. He became persistent by coming back on his own and asking for a second opportunity. Now, many of you have tried one thing and it failed and you stopped it. Am I right? Some of you had this great business idea, you tried it once, it didn't work and you stopped. Some of you wanted to study for a particular diploma, you went there, you did first year, you failed and you stopped. So in closing, I'm going to share with you the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. How many of you know a bamboo tree? Okay, I think in bamboo. A bamboo tree is a very tall tree. It usually grows in China. It's very strong. They use it for furniture and many other things. But here's what a lot of people don't know about the bamboo tree. So the guy buys a piece of land, 10 times the size of this room. And he wants to be a bamboo tree farmer because he knows bamboo trees make money. And his friends saw him buy this piece of land. And he says to his friends, I'm going to be a very wealthy man. Ngizoba inkinsela, yes? Yasemgungundlovu. Uthi ngizaba inkinsela yaseChina. So first year, he goes and buys the seed of the bamboo tree. He plants the seed, that's year number 1. He puts manure. We are in Nusela, he puts water in. And his friends come at the end of the first year. But how, daughter, you said you're going to be rich, you're going to be having bamboo trees. Where are your bamboo trees? And he says to them, I'm still watering my bamboo tree. He puts manure, he puts water. Year number 2, his friends come again. There's nothing. But I daughter. Ngathi bakushayele wena kunabamboo trees ovela la. Unyaka wesibili ayikho. I know. Ngone ufuna umsebenzi somewhere. Like some of you are told, when you have a dream and you start a business, and it failed for the first 6 months, and it failed for the second 6 months, and your friend starts telling you, listen, stop doing this, go and look for a job. Because they don't see what you see. Because they don't understand the vision of your life. Year number 3, he puts water and he puts manure. Still no bamboo tree. His friends come. Baza nama camp chair, nama cooler bag. Like most of you do that. Bampeg about high daughter. We don't see this bamboo tree business of yours. Get a job like us. Increase. He says, guys, I'm still watering my bamboo tree. Year number 4, he puts manure, he puts water. And the friends show up. They say exactly the same story. They say, my man, before you really do something scary, so donate now at least he says to them, I'm still watering my bamboo tree. Year number 5, he puts manure and he puts water. And his friends show up. They keep saying to him, this dream of yours is going to come crashing. This is not going to end very nicely for you. And he says to them, I'm still watering my bamboo tree. At the end of year 5. Now the bamboo tree takes 5 years under the ground. But on year number 5, for 5 weeks, it shoots from the ground and it becomes mature. 5 years and 5 weeks. They come just at the end of the 5 weeks, and they don't recognize this place because this place is filled with bamboos. And guess what? They start celebrating, our friend is going to be rich, our friend is going to be rich. But when he was persisting, they used to call him names. So here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is life. It's going to be tough. It's going to be difficult. It has now been difficult for us, easy for us. It's still not easy for us. But guess what? We have also been watering our bamboo tree for more than 5 years. And eventually it came out of the ground. There's the bamboo tree. It's a very amazing wealth creator in the East. But it needs your persistent. Principle number 4 we learned from this young man, he was persistent. And eventually he was able to make his dream come true because he did not get $100. He got more than $10,000 from that farmer. So all I'm saying is, I don't know where you are with your life. I don't know what your dream is. But here's what I know. You were all born intentionally. You were not born in Freiheit as a black woman or a black man accidentally. God deposited something unbelievably amazing in your life. All you have to do, you've got to ask yourself the 4 questions. What do I love doing? Does the world need what I do? Will I get paid? And am I exceptionally good? And if the answers to these 4 questions is yes, I can promise you, very soon, your bamboo trees will shoot from the ground and reach for the sky. May God bless you. Thank you.
So one of my favorite quotes from you is this one. The universe is waiting for you to be a true participant. Go out there and make a difference. You have it within you to do it. Thank you so much. Thank you.